a PowerPoint presentation, so bear with me. Can you guys see my screen?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Let's try this again. One participant share at a time, yes. And then, okay. Are you guys?
Okay, we got it now.
Okay, awesome. So we're all here today to talk about our 2021 Rotarians at Work Day and this new idea to do the Ridge to Reef audit of the islands. So it's going to be a statewide effort, which is growing more and more every day. Lots of Zoom calls, lots of phone calls, and lots of emails. So this is, if you guys can see the Rotary Club sign up form. That kind of just outlines a little bit of what we're expecting for the day of the actual cleanup and data collection. The time, as you'll note on here, it does say 9 a.m. to noon, but we really want to stress whatever works best for your club and your members. I don't want anybody to overexert themselves or do anything that they're uncomfortable with. Suggest doing the cleanup early in the morning before the sun gets too hot, maybe 8 a.m. if you guys are comfortable with it, and then having a second shift come in to do the sorting and classification of that. On the sign up form, you'll also notice that there is an opportunity to get presentations, whether you're interested in the Ridge, the Reef, a beach cleanup, or a park cleanup. We've been in contact with some really amazing individuals that have offered to do some presentations for us Rotarians to kind of get us up to speed of what they're doing. One of the organizations we're working with for the Reef is, the name is escaping me right now. His name is Kirk from Ocean Defenders Alliance. That's based out of California. I think there's some folks on this call that knew the name, and he knew a couple Rotarian members by name as well. Thank you so much for getting the air donated for the day, the oxygen tanks. That's a huge, huge relief off of everybody's shoulders. I myself have never scuba dove, so I am learning a lot about this stuff along the way, and I'm trusting the experts to make sure everybody is safe and that we have a successful day here. So if you're interested in that, that would be the Ocean Defenders Alliance. We also have Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii, who's also offered to help us out and do some educating there. They have some tremendous experience in this area. The last group that we're working closely with is Surfrider Foundation. And again, all of these organizations have offered to do presentations. So if you or your club would like that, be sure to note that on this sign up form here. Another thing that we're going to be needing from each of the clubs is the location that you've chose to adopt for this day, whether it's going to be the Pearl Harbor bike path or if it's going to be Waikiki Beach. We just need to know the location that you're looking to clean up and do a data collection on, a guesstimation of the number of volunteers, and an estimation of the times. One of the reasons that we need that is the Department of Parks and Recreation has offered to help us out and do some of the rubbish pickup at the parks. Now, this is only for the city parks. The state parks is a whole separate application process, but if you guys are doing any of those, we will want to let them know ahead of time that there's going to be probably some extra bags of rubbish tied up near their regular trash receptacles. So any questions on the sign up form before I go forward?
April, I have a question.
Yes.
From Maui. So this Department of Parks pickup thing, is it only for Oahu?
As far as I know, yeah, the gentleman I've been dealing with is just here on Oahu. I don't know of any contacts on outer islands that I'm aware of. Anybody else on the call know any contacts of who we could get in touch with on the outer islands? I'm going to add that to the list of needs.
Okay, so, and then April, if you can just also.
Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Wendy.
Well, the only concern I have is that upcountry, I'm on Maui, and Upcountry Rotary we normally do a highway cleanup, and we've been trying to do one almost every month, and they keep telling us we're not allowed to do it. So are we going to be able to, you know what I mean, do this? Be able to
Why,
go clean?
have they given you a reason why you're not allowed to do it?
They said because of the whole social distancing and everything, they won't allow us to do it.
And don't quote me on this, but my understanding is now that we're on the tier 3, we're allowed to have groups of 10 or less.
Okay.
And we're actually also trying to apply for, with the city and county, is a letter basically for community service projects for an exemption. This is something that they've done for groups such as Sustainable Coastlines that have a history of having large volunteer gatherings, that they know how to kind of manage them, make sure that people are following the COVID-19 protocols at that time. You know, we definitely want to respect all of those guidelines in hopes that they will help us pick up the rubbish. So maybe those things are kind of starting to loosen up, and it seems like
I'll
we're
try to
doing.
recheck with them, because I think it's been probably a month since the last time we tried. So I'll recheck with them.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think, you know, those tier system is county by county. So it's it could well be different on Maui.
That's true too. It's every island has a little bit different challenges and different, you know, comfort levels for the individuals involved too. You know, a spike on an outer island is much more concerning than here on Oahu, where we have a lot more medical resources, I guess, at our disposal than other outer islands. So yeah, maybe check back in with them and see. But if not, I'm going to make a list of trying to get in touch with Parks and Recreation departments on outer islands, and that's for the city parks. All right. And yes, please take advantage of the education from all these folks too, if you guys can. We're going to try to record those presentations too, in case people aren't able to attend those meetings.
April, can you send me this form? I don't think I have received it yet.
Oh,
So,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, me either. I sent you a chat with my email, so if you could send it to me too.
Okay, absolutely.
I have one also.
All right. If anybody who's missing it, if you can just shoot in the chat here that you're missing the sign up form. And I know we were going to edit it just a little bit, as for example, the supplies, gloves, bags, grain bags. For folks here on Oahu, I have been able to contact the Waikiki Brewing Company, and they've been generous enough to collect and donate to us the spent grain bags from the brewery. So these are really tough bags that are meant to hold 50 pounds of materials. They're much stronger than your traditional plastic garbage bags, so to speak. So anybody on Oahu who would like some of those, I have probably 50 bags stacked up in my bedroom right now, and I'm happy to share them with anybody that wants, or I can get you in contact with the folks over at Waikiki Brewing if you'd like to pick up from them directly. But also to add to that supply list, sunscreen is really important. Make sure we're bringing snacks. If you have like trash grabbers, and 5-gallon buckets are also a really good option as well. We did get a donation of some hand sifters, both DIY made ones and like the metal colanders too, that I'm happy to share with groups that are doing beach cleanups to help sift out those microplastics. But I'll get the sign up sheet to anybody who hasn't gotten it yet. Just be sure to mention it in the chat. When this is over, I'll get a copy of the chat and follow up with you guys.
Hey, April, are we going to also have releases, liability releases?
For anything in particular?
Folks who go out and help us with this stuff, and let's say they reach down and get injected by a needle in the sand.
As the insurance guy for the district, I think we all need to be signing releases.
Yep.
That is something that hadn't come across my radar before, to get releases for this event, but yes,
The individual clubs can deal with that themselves. I mean, it's easy for us to get them off the website. So I think it would be incumbent to in the instructions to make that a directive to the various clubs. I don't think necessarily you, April, need to get them all together, but the clubs are going to be responsible because it's going to come back on them.
Got it. Okay. All right.
And the dive shop's going to have them sign a release when they pick up the tanks. But we should have a District 5000 release available for the folks that help us.
It's always a good idea.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. And with the folks at Sustainable Coastlines, I'm going to get to that in just a moment. They do have a DIY, like do-it-yourself cleanup. So I believe it kind of releases them from liability, but I think, you know, I would go with Rich's advice for each of us as clubs to get our own waiver signed, just to err on the side of caution. Absolutely. And the next thing, did everybody receive a copy of the project details, kind of this letter outlining what we're hoping to do for the day, the goal, the desired outcomes? And if anybody hasn't gotten that, same thing in the chat, let me know and I'll send out the copy to you. But just a real overview, if you're trying to partner with any other organizations or get donations for your club's cleanup, this is just a good outline of what we're hoping to do that day, who we're hoping to partner with, expected outcome, and really that statement of need of how important it is to not only do the cleanups, but also the data collection aspect for any clubs that are interested in doing that. Cleanup, we would be delighted. If you can also do the data collection, even better. So there's just a little bit more information in there. I won't go into all the details with that, but if you'd like a copy, please let me know. I can send that along if you haven't already received one. But this is really such an important thing with the new area of focus to support the environment that I think this project really fits in nicely with that new effort.
Can we talk a little bit about the data collection?
Sure. We're still working with Sustainable Coastlines, Surfrider Foundation, and the Ocean Defenders Alliance to identify, what do we want to collect at what locations. I'm hoping to narrow it down to kind of like 10 areas of classification. It can get really nitty gritty and you can break it down into, probably hundreds of categories of rubbish, but I'd like to try to keep it on the simpler side. So I'm hopeful that we can get a consensus on maybe the top 10 things that we're looking for at these beach cleanups. That hasn't been confirmed yet. We do have a meeting set up with all three of those organizations this coming Monday. So I'm hopeful that we can iron out some of those details by then. As of right now, Surfrider Foundation has a really awesome data collection card available on their website that you can kind of check it out and review it ahead of time just to get an idea of what this initiative is going to be looking something. It's going to be something like that. Probably not as detailed, but yeah, we're trying to limit it to, I think the top 10 things hopefully will be enough information that it's meaningful and relevant to what we're trying to do with this program.
If we were, I know that the Rotary Club of Honolulu is looking at more of a Waikiki cleanup, not a beach cleanup. I think hopefully the Rotary Club of Waikiki will be to the beach. We're going to do around the park. That's sort of our idea. So we're going to be picking up a lot of trash, everything from candy wrappers to hopefully not condoms, but there's all that stuff in between.
Right.
And of course it's a little bit daunting to identify all of that stuff.
Yeah, and that's you bring up a good point about the prophylactics. I'm also trying to reach out to an organization to get hypodermic needle containers for certain areas that have been identified as kind of like hot spots for those. I want to stress to anybody, if you see something like that and you're not comfortable handling it, don't. Leave it there and we'll send the information on to folks that can handle that. And the same thing goes for the reef cleanup or the beach cleanups. If you come across a net that's just too big for you to manage, let us know and we'll get in touch with somebody who can help with that. But yeah, that's that. Be prepared to see some unsightly things in a cleanup for anybody who hasn't done a beach cleanup before. I know there's some clubs that have done the Adopt a Highway. I know there's Adopt a Park program, which I knew Adopt a Stream and Adopt a roadway was a thing, but Adopt a Park is another option as well. And you never know what you're going to find in those places. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Can be a little shocking to folks that maybe haven't seen those kinds of things before.
So April, you'll be meeting with those people and get a better idea of the scope. And because I know Sustainable Coastlines does a lot by weight. It's what they pick up and can put on the back of a flatbed or a pickup truck and take it to the dump. So that's part of what they do. But they want to know how much plastic they're picking up from the beach too. I know that that's part of their deal.
Yeah, and then the Ocean Defenders Alliance, just the opposite. They don't really have a history of doing the classification, but the John Hader and I had a really good conversation with the Sustainable Coastlines co-coordinator for the marine debris collection over on Kauai, and she said, "Oh yeah, we get helicopters that come in and pick up the nets," and I was just blown away that they have that reach and that capacity to do that. So we're really hopeful on this call on Monday to see how all three parties can kind of work together. Each area has their own, expertise in something and how we can kind of collaborate together on this and hopefully make it simple enough for us Rotarians to be a part of. And then once they identify the 10 things that would be most helpful for them for data collection, we'll then be looking to do like a train the trainer where they can help train us Rotarians that are championing or leading these projects for our clubs of what to look for and how to collect it, whether it's by weight, if that's even an option, or if it's just by number of bottle caps. So a lot more information to come on that. The educational component is really, really important in this, just as important as the cleanup itself is really understanding why we're cleaning up and what we're cleaning up and how to make better decisions going forward. So yeah, not a lot of information on the collection and classification yet, but knowing that that's going to be a big part of it.
Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions about the collection? All right, the next steps on the screen here is just really identifying those partner organizations, getting clubs to sign up and commit statewide so we can identify those locations, about how many volunteers you're expecting and about the time that you're looking to do it. We're also getting lists from Surfrider and Sustainable Coastlines of areas that they've identified. Once we have those hotspot lists, we'll definitely disperse those to clubs who are unsure of where they might want to go or if they want to partner with other clubs in certain areas. And then arranging those educational meetings too. So we're planning to do these meetings bi-weekly leading up to the day of and including that Thursday, the week of the cleanup itself. But I know this does overlap with some other clubs that want to join, so we might change the time or try to start a little earlier if possible on a couple of those Thursdays leading up to it, just to get everybody involved as much as possible. So yep, again, the meeting today is the 3/11. We'll be meeting again on the 25th, April 1st, April 15th, and April 22nd as well. This is, can everybody see the DIY cleanup guideline? This is from the folks over at Sustainable Coastlines. This is also available on their website as well. And this is likely something that we're going to be utilizing a lot for this cleanup is what they call like DIY or small kind cleanups that everybody can kind of sign up their own clubs. It gives some really good safety tips, best practices, and again, similar supply lists of what to bring the day of the event for your club to be prepared and make sure everybody's safe and definitely make sure everybody's hydrated as much as possible. So this is just a really cool guideline that we're probably going to be utilizing for our cleanups as well in partnership with them. The next thing is just a little updates that I have is the, Waikiki donating the bags. Again, those are available. Anybody who would like, I'm happy to share or drop off or connect you with Waikiki Brewing if you want to pick up there. Individual Travis, he donated the hand sifters. I'm happy to share those with some folks that are doing beach collections that day of, metal colanders. And he also has this large, kind of like a turbine device that he created using old bicycle rims and basically chicken wire, and you hand crank it and it'll sift out the sand and keep the plastic bits inside. So hopefully that will make a little easier on everybody's backs from bending over and trying to sift out the plastic from the sand. So again, yeah, identifying the clubs and the locations. And then Surfrider has also offered us to borrow some of their supplies if we need. They have a beach cleanup at Kamaina Hotel in town. They're looking for 30 volunteers, so that's a really good opportunity for any club that hasn't identified a location yet or wants to help out with them. Again, that's tentative. Once they get the information confirmed, I'll get that information out to anybody who wants to possibly sign up to support that particular location. And then, of course, the message from Dave that he got from Chris to supply the tanks the day of. This is wonderful. The partnership with Surfrider Foundation on Kauai is really shaping up. She's already offered to support individuals at each location. They're looking to do, I believe, 4 different beaches on the island, and they're looking for 8 people each for each one of the beaches. So again, really, John is the gentleman to contact about that. And then Sustainable Coastlines is encouraging, there's a link in here for the small kind cleanups to host your own cleanup, which is kind of like what we're doing. This is kind of like solo style, small kind beach cleanup for the day of. And then the last thing I wanted to just show you guys really quickly is the image that we're going to be sharing for like a save the date on social media, and hopefully creating some flyers once we get more information concrete. So this is just kind of the image that we went with, the Ridge to Reef cleanup and data collection, statewide effort, April 24th, 2021 with Rotary. It is going to be a District 5000, it's statewide. Would love to see all 53 clubs participate in the event. 100% participation would be amazing, but I totally understand if this is not for everyone. Any thoughts or feedback on this image? Does it read well? Any feedback? I had a really great artist working on it. So if there's any changes that you guys think, I want to make it before we.
I think it looks great.
Awesome.
I think it works.
Cool. I thought I was blown away with what she was able to create. I'm really happy with it, but I want to make sure I know what I want it to say, but I want to make sure it reads well to anybody who might be scrolling and come across it. Gosh, what is that? So hopefully we're going to get the information detailed underneath on Facebook and Instagram. And also she's going to try to create a flyer, not that we're going to try to print and hang up flyers anywhere, but just a little, hopefully digital flyer that we can share around to get more folks involved. So that's really all the updates that I had for today's meeting. I'm going to take a look at the chat afterwards and follow up with everybody on the sign up sheet, and anybody who didn't already get the letter kind of outlining what we're hoping to do the day of. And then I definitely want to get with Rich on getting those releases too, to make sure that every club knows where to go and how to get those resources.
Sure.
So Rich, can you work out a release that we can attach to the sign up so it's a one-stop shop?
Yeah, I hate to do language creation since I'm not an attorney. However, the waivers that are on the RI website can be sort of universally applied.
Yeah, but so they don't have to go hunt for one. Can we get that attached?
Yeah, I'll get the I'll give April the website and the password and to get in, and then you can actually download them. Every club can too, and maybe you could just put that out there, or I could download. I want to figure out which one is the best, and I could download one and email it, and you could spread it around. That's one thing you could do as well. Let me take a look. Let me take a look at that.
Attached to the sign up form, and here's my problem. Someone shows up, they got the sign up form, they're all ready to go, they don't have a waiver. So what do we do? You know, what do you do then? So if it's all one package, and when they sign, they get the whole deal, I think that's about
I think that's above my pay grade. I'm not technologically proficient at integrating that. That's a wonderful idea, and I've seen it happen. I think the Gunstock Ranch folks have done a wonderful job, or Peely's done a wonderful job, because if you go on their website and you sign their waiver, it automatically downloads to a Google Doc, and you know who's going and who's signing and who hasn't. So there's some that's doing it online is really the way to go, but I'm not sure how she accomplished that, or maybe that was the Gunstock Ranch that made it happen for her.
It was a team effort on that, and a lot of folks did do it ahead of time, which was great. We already knew how many people to expect, but as you can imagine, the day of the event, there's a few surprise folks that show up. So we did have the paper, some waivers.
Yeah, you got to do both. You definitely got to do both.
Yeah, yep. Digital is wonderful. The eco warrior in me wants it all digital and paper free, but I totally understand that people with good intentions show up, and I don't want to turn them away. So we'll capture them with the hard copy.
Well, if you had a laptop right there at the sign up site, they could do it all online right there.
I seem to remember Rich and me sitting there at the site at Gunstock with the little canopy and with a clipboard with some more forms in it, and some people needing to fill them out when they arrive to plant trees. So there's always a fallback.
Yeah, there's got to be. Got to have a plan B.
Yeah, because sometimes the cell phone service or the reception isn't there to do the online as well. So plan A, B, and C.
Right. Well, I'll get a waiver that's available, and we've got some time. We'll get it out so people can sign it.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Right.
I like it.
Okay.
Any other matters to discuss on this call before we,
You're going to send out a list of all the dates, future dates.
Yeah, that I believe was included. We got the 11th, the 25th, April 1st, April 15th, and the 22nd, and that will be included on the Ridge to Reef project details list.
Cool.
Or the letter that I'll send out.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
I see there's a lot of stuff in the chat room, but I don't want to step away from this. Let me just try to pull it up, see if there's anything quick. Okay, yes, thank you for everybody that needs the form. I'll be sending those out after the call for sure. All right, and then the last thing is for anybody that wants to get involved, I've started a Google document kind of tracking the to-do list of things that we still need to do to make this project happen. If there's anybody who wants to kind of get further involved and help out, let me know. I can add you to that list to kind of see what we're looking at, what's kind of left to check off the to-do, doing, and done list. And again, throw that right in the chat and I'll reach out to you and I can share that as well. This has definitely been a team effort, and I thank everybody so much for all the initiatives, and it's shaping up really nicely. I've had some really good phone calls today. I was on the phone with Kyle over at the wastewater or stormwater management, and I'm sure that they are having their hands full right now. But he had mentioned that there is a new area in Eva that they put in a collection device at the stream. They put it in January, and it's something that's an area that us as Rotarians might be able to go over there and help with that cleanup. He also really encouraged us to sign up for the Adopt a Block and Adopt a Stream program on the city and county's website as well. But yeah, there's so much opportunity to clean up and collect data around the whole state, and you know, being
April.
from the North Shore, I'm concerned that after this tremendous waterfall settles here, we're gonna have our hands really full with rubbish on the shorelines.
April. This Reese Leggett, can I say something?
Of course.
Um, I've done these before, and rather than dump the trash out and sort it, it's worked this way. You have two people picking up trash, and they call what they have to a person with the checklist, and they log it right there as they go. And it's labor intensive, but if you got the volunteers, it's a lot cleaner and very efficient way to do it.
Absolutely. Clean up as you go and call it out. I've seen that. It can be a little chaotic. You know, you got somebody with a clipboard keeping up with those hollering out. And I've also seen some where they like, okay, you're picking up cigarette butts, you're picking up takeout and plastic bags. But yeah, hopefully that's a really good point. And being as efficient as possible is ideal. You know, we don't want to spend more time, you know, touching those items multiple times, you know, some pretty unsavory items. So that's a really good option for folks that are doing the cleanup and the data collection to call it out as you pick it up, and then just have maybe one or two people with clipboards kind of identifying, you know, each one maybe collecting 5 things each. That's a really good suggestion.
I have a good question. Just so I understand it correctly, are there proposed places that they prefer us to go and clean up, or are we allowed to say we want to go here and there and so forth? Just because I'm going to help Marico kind of coordinate with the Maui clubs. And sometimes, you know, if you have a list of like, these are the places that really need it, you know, and this is in your area, sometimes that's easier versus them coming up with something if they don't have like a place they normally do it. So I didn't know if you had that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that list. I know Surfrider Foundation said that they'd be happy to share the locations that they've already done cleanups and what kind of data they've collected at those locations. You know, at the end of the day, I don't want us to be well, I always want to pick up the rubbish, but I don't want to be collecting data if it's not helpful for them. So I want them to really let us know, you know, what areas need help and where do you need data the most. If there's an area that's kind of been neglected or a little bit harder to get to. So really hoping to iron out that and what items to collect on Monday with that call. So you're referring to Maui specifically, yeah? And I'm pretty sure the Sustainable Coastlines has either a chapter or they have a representative over there. I can try to get in contact with them to identify some areas. The Kauai representative was phenomenal. I mean, she had places in mind. They're going out every 2 weeks. So it was really efficient, and you know, she got right to the point of areas that we can go and help them out at. So hopefully, yeah, we'll get that ironed out on Monday as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, April, I also wrote in the chat, if also, I mean, Waikiki Brewing Company now has a store on Maui too. So if they can also give us another grain bags and so on, that would be awesome. And yeah, so if any Surfrider or Sustainable Coastline Hawaii or Maui can collaborate with us, that would be great. But if you want us to contact them directly from our side, just let us know. But maybe it may be helpful for the folks on Oahu to also contact them.
Yeah, what I can do after this is, I didn't know they had a location over there, so that's really, really great to hear. I'm not sure if they're brewing. Do you know if they're actually brewing at that location, or is it
No,
more
it's just a restaurant, Waikiki Brewing Company restaurant in Lahaina.
Okay.
Yeah, they opened about 6 months ago during COVID.
Wow.
Yes.
Impressive. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. We can check. I can check and see with the folks over here if maybe they can send some of the bags to you guys over on the island. If they're not actually brewing the beer over there, maybe we can send some bags over to you guys. It's worth the ask.
Yeah.
Because they're really
Thank you.
sturdy bags.
You know,
Yeah.
we could also try to reach out to Maui Brewing Company, you know, and maybe see if they want to do something here too. So I have some contacts there. I'll reach out to them too and see.
And the ones here,
Right.
we're really excited about getting involved. Let us know when you need volunteers and where to go. We want to support. Our Eco Rotary Club did a beach cleanup and bar crawl with them for my birthday last year. We did a beach cleanup, and then we went to Waikiki Brewing. We went to oh my gosh, I'm forgetting, like 2 other breweries locally in town that you could kind of walk to, and they gave us discounts on the food. So they are all about supporting events like this. So it's really great to reach out to community members like that and see if we can get them involved in any way. And I know Christina from my Eco Club is on the line. Christina, did you have anything you wanted to add to today's meeting?
Hey guys, I was just listening along, but because you mentioned the different breweries and everything, that maybe, especially since Waikiki in Maui just opened up, maybe they might have some kind of partnership where every volunteer will get some kind of discount or something that they can, I know Surfrider's really good about that, always having like these perks that when you come out to their beach cleanups and everything, there's all this additional things that you get because they've gotten so good at what they do. But yeah, if we're partnering with any local breweries or any type of eateries or things like that, businesses that probably want more business, it might be, we can definitely reach out to them and ask, if they would want that business or, give out something.
It definitely doesn't hurt to ask. And I've learned that, sometimes you get turned down, but you never know. Another, things that aren't confirmed yet, but I'm trying to reach out to Precious Plastics over on Maui, I believe. They upcycle the plastic collected from beach cleanups into art and other creative things. So it's really exciting to kind of see the reach of this project, and somebody knows somebody that knows something about something, and it's just kind of growing in this really awesome way.
I think I have ties with Upcycle. Are you familiar with them? I believe they're on the Big Island though, but that's what she does. She uses, is that right? Upcycle? Are you familiar with them?
I've heard of Upcycle Hawaii. There's a woman up here.
They're on the Big Island, right?
I believe so. Upcycle Hawaii. I think that's on Hawaii Island.
If that's the case and they're looking for specific things, would you want me to reach out to them? Because I've been in touch with her before. And I know that they always take in things and plastics and all this stuff to make really cool items that she sells.
Yeah,
I mean, she may have particular.
Any way for us to divert this stuff from the landfill or from the incinerator, the better. If there's any way to reuse it or repurpose it, that would be ideal for sure.
Okay, I'll reach out to her and see if there's any type of specific things that she's looking for that is pretty common when people do beach cleanups or even like other kind of cleanups that she would use.
Awesome, sounds good. And then I think, I don't know if I mentioned it on this call or not. Forgive me if I mispronounce this, Anke, A-N-K-E. You're doing the cleanup over on the east side, yeah? Waimanalo.
Yes, there's 4 clubs, 3 on Kaneohe, 2 in Kailua, 1 in Kaneohe, and 1 in Hawaii Kai. They belong to a so-called hui, and they all will clean up together.
Wonderful. I reached out after our last call to Ray over at Seed World, and I asked if he would be willing to let us borrow his flotation buoyancy separation, and he said, yep, he's
Yay.
gonna save the day. And I'm really excited for anybody over in that area doing the cleanups to kind of see that device in action, and then kind of go from there if it makes sense to like buy one for us Rotary clubs to kind of borrow and share around, or if we just gonna keep calling Ray if we can. But yeah, he agreed to help us out. So that's another really exciting thing, especially with the amount of microplastics that are collected on that side of the island.
Great. I have a meeting on Monday with all of the clubs and get their commitment and sign up. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. That's really great. 3 clubs. We're on our way to all 53 statewide.
Actually,
One
it's
club at a
four
time.
clubs.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah, it's four together.
All right, everybody. Well, I don't have any other updates or any more information to share on this call for today. If there's any other questions.
Good job.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Oh man, this is a group effort. Thank you, everybody. All of the emails and stuff. I appreciate the feedback and the support for all of this. This crazy idea is coming to reality, and I'm really excited to see what we can do together.
It'll be good. I'm gonna advertise it in my Things for Saving newsletter. It goes to 22,000 people, so maybe 5 or 6 of them will read it.
Oh, I think so. That's awesome.
You guys have a
Yeah,
great day.
yeah.
Thanks.
And I think those of us who are AGs will take it out to our groups. I'll take it to my 5 West Side clubs this coming week. So we'll get the word out.
Sounds good. It's really shaping up, and I'm hopeful that that beautiful graphic is going to catch people's attention and get even more folks interested.
Right.
Thank you, and thank you for all you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Wendy. Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
April.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Aloha.
Bye, April. You're doing awesome.